Welcome to the Tift College of Education's informational session for field experiences. My name is Kay Thomas, and I am the Director of Field Placement. If you are viewing this presentation, you are most likely getting ready for full admission to the teacher education program. During this transition period, some of you may already be admitted, and you're getting ready to apply for field experiences for the first time. In either situation, it is important to know and understand the information in this presentation in order for you to plan your program of study and assist you in planning for your field experience courses here at Mercer. You will have access to this presentation at any time during your program here at Mercer, but you only have to view the presentation one time and pass the assessment at the conclusion to enable you to apply for full admission or enable you to apply for field experience courses when the application system is open. An important point to remember: it should not automatically be assumed you are ready for field experience courses just because you have full admission. You should meet with your advisor to be sure you have a program plan in place. Field experience courses build on each other. However, the required field experiences vary somewhat across programs. The following chart gives you a better understanding of how the Office of Field Placement categorizes field experience courses. Students on the Atlanta campus in the MAT or graduate level certification only program are required to complete 3 field experience courses in the following order: EMAT 601 Initial Field Experience, EMAT 608 or EMAT 609 Practicum or Mentored Practicum, EMAT 611 or EMAT 612 Student Teaching or Internship. Macon and the Regional Academic Centers. Degree-seeking candidates in the early childhood special education and middle-level programs in the Regional Academic Centers and in the middle or secondary programs on the Macon campus are required to complete 4 experiences: EDUC 398, Fieldwork 1, EDUC 399, Fieldwork 2, EDUC 485, Practicum, and EDUC 492 Student Teaching. Certification-only candidates in the Regional Academic Centers are required to complete 3 field experiences: EDUC 399, Fieldwork 2, EDUC 485, Practicum, or EDUC 488, Mentored Practicum, and EDUC 492, Student Teaching, or EDUC 498, Internship. The Holistic Child program on the Macon campus has some unique field experience requirements. If you are a Holistic Child major, you will complete 7 experiences beginning in the spring of your freshman year: EDUC 102B, Field Component 1B, in the spring of your freshman year; EDUC 201A, Field Component 2A, in the fall of your sophomore year; EDUC 202B, Field Component 2B, in the spring of your sophomore year; EDUC 311A, Field Component 3A, in the fall of your junior year; EDUC 313B, Field Component 3B, in the spring of your junior year; EDUC 480, Field Component 4A, is in the fall of your senior year; EDUC 496, Field Component 4B, is in the spring of your senior year. Music education. Music education students have unique programming as well. The common experience is EDUC 492 Student Teaching. Music education students should apply for their student teaching experience through the Office of Field Placement. All policies, procedures, application dates, and deadlines apply for this experience. The policies and procedures are outlined in this presentation. Early care and education. Students involved in the Early Care and Education program have a unique field experience pattern. You will take 2 practicums prior to your student teaching. EDEC 483 is a practicum in child development. EDEC 484 is a practicum in child care administration. The common experience is EDEC 492, your student teaching. If the director of the Early Care and Education program feels that a placement in a public setting is necessary, then all field experience policies and procedures will apply to early care and education students. Pre-practicum experiences. For pre-practicum field experience courses, you are required to spend a minimum of 35 hours over 7 to 10 weeks in classrooms. This requirement depends on the course in which you are enrolled. The only exception to this 35-hour requirement is pre-practicum experiences in EDUC 102B, in which 24 hours are required. You will be asked to observe, participate in small group work or activities, and participate in one-to-one tutoring. Professional practicum and mentored practicum experiences. For practicum courses, EDUC 480, EDUC 485, EDUC 488, and EMAT 608, you will spend a minimum of 60 hours over 10 weeks in your assigned classrooms. Holistic child majors complete a minimum of 80 hours in EDUC 480. You'll be asked to teach a minimum of 10 lessons over 10 weeks. The practicum experience requires students to spend time planning with their cooperating teachers in order to plan and teach lessons. Therefore, the 60-hour requirement is really a minimum time requirement, as only academic or face-to-face time with students is counted towards your hours. 2 of the 10 lessons taught during practicum are evaluated by a university supervisor. A typical schedule for practicum is 1 to 2 days per week. If you plan to work as you complete practicum, you should prepare and plan ahead for time away from your job. Student teaching and internship. Student teaching is the pinnacle field experience course. The student teaching courses are EDUC 492 for Macon and the centers, EDUC 496 for the Holistic Child Program, and EMAT 611 for Atlanta. Student teaching is full-time over a period of 12 weeks. You will arrive when your cooperating teacher arrives and conclude your day when your cooperating teacher concludes his or her day. This experience typically requires time away from your current job. It is essential for you to prepare for this experience ahead of time. If you are teaching in your own classroom as the teacher of record on a provisional certificate, you may be eligible to take EDUC 488 or EMAT 609, mentored practicum, in place of professional practicum, and or EDUC 498 or EMAT 612, internship, in place of student teaching. You must apply during the regular application periods and fill out additional paperwork. Mentored practicum and internship packets should be picked up in the Office of Field Placement. Instructions on what to complete and the due dates are included in these packets. Students who fit the criteria will need to meet with the Director of Field Placement to determine how they will meet the college's cluster and diversity requirements. The following information will help you determine if you are eligible for mentored practicum. To apply for mentored practicum, you must be the teacher of record in your own classroom and in a setting in which we certify. You will need to present a copy of your employment contract to the Office of Field Placement. If your contract does not indicate the grade level or subject area, if applicable, you will need a letter from your principal stating the grade level and subject area you are assigned as the teacher of record. Additionally, mentored practicum students must also have non-renewable certificates. You will need to submit an application to the Office of Field Placement by the appropriate due dates. The following information will help you determine if you are eligible for internship. The classroom in which you are the teacher of record must be an appropriate setting for your program of study. For example, if you are seeking certification in middle grades language arts and math, you should be teaching in a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade language arts or math class. If you are seeking certification in early childhood special education, you should be teaching the general curriculum, not an adapted curriculum, in a PK, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade classroom. You must have a non-renewable teaching certificate in the field you are seeking certification. If your non-renewable does not match the field in which you are seeking certification, you must have passed the GACE, Content Area Test, in the area you are seeking certification. You must have a valid contract from your school system. Again, you must submit an application with the Office of Field Placement and meet all the application deadlines. The following chart is an overview of cluster requirements for field experience. Tift College of Education has a diversity requirement each student must meet. For early childhood majors and early childhood special education majors, you must have a total of 3 placements in 3 different school settings. 1 in pre-KK, 1 in 1st, 2nd, or 3rd grade, and 1 in 4th or 5th grades. Middle grades majors should have 3 placements in 2 clusters, 1 in 4th or 5th, and 2 in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade in your area of concentration. For example, your early field experience should be in 4th or 5th grade, and your practicum should be in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, first concentration, and student teaching in a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade in your second area of concentration. Secondary majors should have 3 placements in 2 clusters, 1 in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, and 2 in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade in your area of concentration. For example, your early field experience should be in a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade classroom. Your practicum should be in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade in your area of concentration, and student teaching should be in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade in your area of concentration. The Office of Field Placement maintains a field placement file for each student. The information you place in the application system is vital to this process, as it allows us to track your placements to verify the diversity requirement. If you have not met the diversity requirement by the end of your program, it might delay your graduation and/or the college's ability to obtain certification on your behalf. If you have questions about meeting the diversity requirement, you should meet with the Director of Field Placement and/or your advisor. Holistic child majors must meet the same diversity requirements as all other students. Holistic child majors have 7 field experiences in order to meet those cluster requirements. The following are a series of frequently asked questions in the Office of Field Placement. Do I have to be fully admitted to the teacher education program before I can apply for field experience courses? Yes, you must have obtained full admission before you can even apply for field experience courses. You must also view this presentation and pass the test at the conclusion in order to apply for field work. The only exceptions to the full admission requirements are for those early experiences for the holistic child major, EDUC 102B, EDUC 201A, and EDUC 202B. However, there is no exception to the requirement of viewing this presentation and passing the test before applying for your first field experience. Can I do my field experiences in a private school? The Office of Field Placement does not seek placements in a private school. If you are currently employed in a private school and want to conduct field work in that school, you will need to meet with the director for prior approval. Applications for experiences in private schools are available on the application system and in the Office of Field Placement. At a minimum, these schools must be SACS, GAC, or NACE accredited settings. The forms needed for approval can be found on the application website. If you fail to turn in the appropriate paperwork after submitting an application for private school placement in the application system, your application will be considered incomplete and you will be dropped for the semester for which you are applying. When can I do my student teaching or internship? Prerequisites for student teaching and internship, regardless of the program you are enrolled, include the following: successful completion of all education and content coursework in your program of study, successful completion of pre-practicum and practicum field experience courses. For MAT students, you can take EMAT 689 Research Capstone before or after student teaching. If you are seeking middle grades or secondary degrees, you may also take EMAT 625 before or after your student teaching. Can I work while student teaching? It is strongly recommended that you not engage in significant employment while student teaching. Significant employment is interpreted to mean 20 or more hours per week. Student teaching is a rigorous program requiring preparation before, during, and after the school day. Can I receive credit for previous teaching experience? Students in the regional academic centers enrolled in non-degree certification-only programs cannot transfer credits or waive field experiences. You are required to take all 3 field experiences. The MAT program does not have a waiver policy for previous experiences. All candidates must complete all 3 field experiences before they can be recommended for graduation and certification. Undergraduate students who are degree seeking can receive transfer credit and/or a waiver for Fieldwork 1 under certain conditions. This decision is determined during the full admission process. Transfer credit can be awarded in 2 ways. Transfer credit is awarded to students transferring from institutions that the Tift College of Education has an articulation agreement with, and if students have successfully met a particular requirement at that institution that would adequately suffice for our early fieldwork course. Our offices will determine if sufficient evidence is there to support the transfer credit. Transfer credit can also be awarded to students transferring from institutions we do not have an articulation agreement with, but students will need to fill out a transfer credit form found on our website, explaining what previous coursework could be accepted for the transfer. Approval is not automatic and will be determined by the Office of Field Placement and the chair of your program. Waiver credit. Undergraduate degree-seeking students can receive waivers for Fieldwork 1 if appropriate previous experience would successfully count in place of Fieldwork 1. Waivers are not granted automatically, and waivers should be applied for during the admission process. Waivers will be determined by the Tift College of Education's Office of Field Placement and the chair of your program. Can I substitute teach during my student teaching, and does substitute teaching experience count for credit? You may not substitute teach while student teaching, nor does substitute teaching count as field experience. Can I conduct field experience in my place of employment? Field experiences can be done in a place of employment with prior approval. You must fill out an application for field work in your place of employment. These forms can be downloaded from the application system, the website, or picked up in the Office of Field Placement. Requests are not automatically granted, and you should talk with the Field Placement Office prior to applying for your course. If employed, do I have to take a leave of absence in order to complete my field experience? If you are not employed as the teacher of record in your classroom, you most likely will be required to take a leave of absence. Plan ahead, as many counties require notification up to 1 year in advance. Insurance. You should obtain liability coverage and be able to show proof of this coverage. Liability coverage is very inexpensive and can be purchased through SPAGE, a division of PAGE, or GAE. Information can be found on their website or in the Office of Field Placement. You will have to have proof of insurance in order to apply for any field experience. Applying versus registration. There is a difference in applying for a field experience course and registration. You must apply for each field experience course each time you are ready to take one. The application system can be found on the Tift College of Education's website. Remember, you must view the online field experience presentation and take the test in order to apply for field experience courses. You only have to take and pass the test one time in order to get access to the application system. Simply applying for an experience, however, does not register you for an experience. That is a separate process. The Office of Field Placement has 4 general application periods, 2 per semester. Mid-September is the spring general application period for practicum, mentored practicum, student teaching, and internship. Mid-October is the spring general application period for pre-practicum experiences. Mid-February is the fall general application period for practicum, mentored practicum, student teaching, and internship. Mid-March is the fall general application period for pre-practicum experiences. Mid-April is the summer application period. EDUC 398, EDUC 399, and EMAT 601 are the only experiences that can be applied for in April. It is important to be sure you have subscribed to listserv, as this is the main mode of communication regarding fieldwork. The Office of Field Placement communicates all information regarding fieldwork via listserv. Application dates, deadlines, messages regarding orientation, or any changes will be communicated on the listserv. Summer field experiences. Beginning in the summer of 2012, the only fieldwork offered on the Atlanta campus will be EMAT 601. Summer field experience is limited to those candidates who are already teaching in their own classrooms or paraprofessionals. This experience is not open to stellar substitutes or other positions held in a school, such as parent liaisons. For Macon and the Regional Academic Center students, Fieldwork 1 and Fieldwork 2 are offered in the summer to all students who apply during the April application period. Handbooks. Handbooks for each field experience course can be found on the Tift College of Education website. Handbooks are a requirement at orientation and should be downloaded and printed before you come to orientation. Candidates are responsible for the information in all handbooks. Handbooks are reviewed each year and changes are made if necessary. The Office of Field Placement has a no-contact policy regarding school systems or system personnel. The Offices of Field Placement will handle all contact with schools regarding your placement. Students should not attempt to interfere with this process. Once you have attended an orientation for the field experience course you have applied, the director will give approval and instructions for contacting the cooperating teacher you have been assigned to. Otherwise, no contact should be made. Students who are employed in a school system where they are conducting mentored practicum or internships should also follow this non-contact policy as well. The Office of Field Placement places students within school systems in which we have current partnership agreements. Most all of our placements take place within a 25-mile radius of the campus for which you are enrolled. If you have a need for a placement outside the 25-mile radius, you will need to contact the Director of Field Placement for a waiver application. There is an additional supervisory fee for students who need supervision outside that radius. Placement outside the radius is not a guarantee. The website. The Tift College of Education website is a resource for all information regarding fieldwork. You should contact the Office of Field Placement if you cannot access information from the website. Mandatory orientations. Candidates enrolled in field experience courses are required to attend the mandatory orientation for that field experience course. Orientations are held just prior to the beginning of field experience. Calendars for orientation are set well in advance, and dates should be placed on a candidate's personal calendar. If you fail to attend a field experience orientation, you will be dropped from your field experience course for this semester. No exceptions will be made. Orientation dates and field calendars can be found on the Tift College of Education website, all offices of field placement, and are sent via listserv to students. Listserv and email addresses. Students are required to set up and use their Mercer email addresses while enrolled. The Office of Field Placement corresponds through Mercer email addresses only. Students should also sign up and maintain listserv accounts while enrolled in field experience courses. Listserv is the main mode of communication for the Office of Field Placement. All calendars, important announcements, orientation reminders, etc. are examples of the types of communications you will receive via listserv. If you do not receive listserv, sign up today. You can find directions for signing up on our website. The Office of Field Placement has 3 locations: Atlanta, Henry for Henry, Douglas, and Noonan, and Macon for Macon and Eastman. Meet our staff. Kay Thomas is the Director of Field Placement. The Atlanta Coordinator is Miss Kristen Truca. The Coordinator for Henry, Douglas, and Noonan is Miss Nikki Jackson. The Coordinator for Macon and Eastman is Miss Danielle Molina. Now that you have viewed this presentation in its entirety, you will find a link on this page that takes you to a test. You must take and pass the test before you can apply for any field experience course. If you are not ready to take the test, you are welcome to repeat this presentation. You are not limited to the number of times you can repeat this presentation. We are excited about the opportunities awaiting you in field placement. Our staff is here to assist you throughout your tenure in our program. Please let us know if you have any questions.